Welcome to Untangled Minds, making sense of the mess one thread at a time. Life with ADHD, autism, and other neurodivergent experiences can feel tangled, chaotic, and overwhelming. I'm Deanna, a therapist, writer, mom, and intuitive, and I know firsthand what it's like to hold both the struggle and the beauty of having one of these brains. In this podcast, we'll explore the intersections of neurodivergence, attachment, relationships, parenting, and healing. Through story, strategy, and soulful conversation, we'll untangle shame, celebrate strengths, and create space for authenticity. If you've ever felt like you're too much, if you're not enough, or you're simply different, this is the place for you to breathe, laugh, and belong. Welcome back. This is episode 7, and I am recording video, which is so exciting for me. I am a little extra smiley, a little extra bubbly because I've been working really hard to make this happen. Today's episode is going to be all about my lonely little heart. No, just kidding. Today's episode is all going to be about disorganized attachment. So through the other couple episodes, you've heard me say that I am disorganized, which means I struggle with both anxious attachment primarily, and also I struggle with avoidant attachment. So I am going to go over disorganized attachment today. This episode might be a little bit longer because it is a lot more of what I feel, so a lot more to say about it. But we're going to go for it. So we'll start with this idea of what is it, how does it impact me, and we'll go from there. I think one of the key ways to know if you're a disorganized attacher is if you have ever said, "Come closer." No, that go away. In the same breath, then you might have disorganized attachment. Disorganized folks are people who are basically running Windows and Mac at the same time. Two operating systems that keep clashing and both end up crashing. That is definitely the best way I've ever put this. I don't even have a better metaphor. Okay. So, quick facts about disorganized attachment. Disorganized is the rarest form of attachment. They say only 5 to 10% of adults have disorganized attachment. Again, I think that's phooey. I think that it's probably a lot higher. However, like myself, a lot of people who have disorganized attachment either lean avoidant or lean anxious. And I think that can get maybe misconstrued as anxious or avoidant, but not disorganized. I need my drink. All right. So disorganized attachment develops when you're a child, and it's when both love and fear are paired in childhood. So this is when your caregiver is both your comforting person, but also the person that scares you or frightens you. It teaches your nervous system that intimacy equals both relief through the love, but also danger through the feelings of being unsafe. This doesn't have to be physical safety. It could be emotional safety, which for me in my life was a lot of the struggles that I had. My father was and continues to be emotionally unavailable and also punitive around emotions. He does not accept my autism or ADHD diagnosis. He thinks that they're just excuses for me to be able to explain away my struggles instead of change them. And I have a lot to say about that. Before we've talked about how anxious people and avoidant people are drawn to each other because avoidants want to be loved and the anxious person loves really hard, but then the avoidant person becomes overwhelmed. And so then they push away the anxious person, which triggers the anxious person's anxiety. And then they cling tighter, which then makes the avoidant person withdraw even more. Well, having disorganized attachment, it's that same push-pull cycle, but within yourself. You lean in and then you pull away. You lean in and you pull away. Lean in and you pull away. But the thing is you're battling your own brain. This disorganized borrows behaviors from both anxious and avoidant, sometimes in the same day, sometimes in the same breath. We crave this deep, deep connection. But as soon as we get that deep connection, we tend to self-sabotage for fear of abandonment. So this is my hallmark move. I crave intimacy. I crave connection. Um, and I crave having somebody to love me. Don't get me started. Yes, I know I'm loved. Um, and the few times in my life where I've thought I had that, I immediately self-sabotaged. And a lot of the times that stemmed from fear of being hurt or abandoned. Um, and my philosophy was if I mess it up, I can't be mad at anybody else. Or for those times when I like would pursue like ending the relationship or the friendship, I would do so because I figure it's inevitable before they leave me. So I'll leave first so they can't hurt me. Now, I'm well aware that these are toxic and unhealthy ways of viewing relationships. I also feel very intensely unable to control those behaviors when they're at their peak. Um, the it's I don't feel safe when I get what I want because I want it so badly that getting it and then losing it is so scary. I don't know how I'll come back from it. And so then the solution is to just not let myself have it. And when I self sabotage, I'm filled with guilt and shame. Why did I ruin something so good? Why did I throw away something that could have been everything that I wanted? This has been something I've been working on my like last couple of years, trying to not give in to the cycles. I've gotten better. It takes a lot of processing, which is my autistic specialty. It takes a lot of processing and a lot of understanding why. Um, I wrote a book about my life, and that processing of writing helped me to understand why I behave the way I do. Um, I think the thing that's the most important for people to understand is that living with a disorganized attachment style doesn't mean that you're a problem or that you're broken. People with disorganized attachment style are often demonized. Um, when you are looking at social media and pop culture, you're seeing people saying, oh, stay away from people with disorganized attachment. Stay away from them. They're toxic. Yeah, we can be a little toxic. But we also love deeply. And if we can overcome our fear of getting what we want and the fear of abandonment and losing it, if we get it, the amount of empathy, love, and depth that comes with the kind of love that we offer is unmatched. Um, so yeah, so far we've talked about the overgivers, those are the anxious people, the lone wolves, those are the avoidant people. And now we're gonna walk straight into the storm, which is disorganized attachment, the push-pull. We want closeness and we fear it at the same time. The core fear behind disorganized attachment is that love is dangerous. Love comes with the risk of being hurt, being abandoned. But so is being alone. Typically, this looks like push pull, lean in, pull back, lean in, pull back. It's the epitome of mixed signals. And it is the go-to because it's, again, I can do this. No, I can't. I can do this. No, I can't. Our nervous system is primed to see getting our own way as a threat to our ability to survive. It's like hugging somebody and then immediately looking for the exit to run away. Or, like, for example, I love to sing karaoke, and I absolutely adore the persona of myself who gets up on that stage. But as soon as that song is over, I run for the hills. Like, I don't want to be anywhere near the stage when people are clapping or giving me praise, or I just want to live my life and stay in the shadows. And I think that that's how love is. I just want to be able to love and be loved silently back. Last month, one of my clients told me about a date. And if I were to describe this date, I would call it a rom-com montage. They laughed, they shared secrets, they stayed up late. The next morning, instead of saying, "This was amazing," they stared at their phone like it was a bomb detonator, both afraid to say anything because to them it was too close, too fast. That means danger. So he waited 3 days to send a meme and then spiraled because he thought that the silence ruined everything. That is disorganized attachment in a nutshell. It's a nervous system that confuses and mistakes tenderness, warmth, and love for an intruder trying to kill them. I don't know the difference. Oh, you love me? You must want me dead. Um, it's so dramatic. It kind of makes me laugh because when I'm not in a cycle, um, I can see how just wild it is to love like this. But in that cycle, you feel so helpless. Oftentimes, like, this kind of attachment style is paired with, like, specific childhood roots. For that kiddo who was made the scapegoat, they were blamed, punished inconsistently. They were never sure if it was gonna be love that they received from their caregiver or anger. Um, for the middle child, they often learned that attention equaled unpredictableness. So they had to be hypervigilant. Again, this is a kid who didn't know whether they were going to receive praise from their caregiver or punishment. And that was specifically tied to the middle child because, again, the middle child is the child who flies under the radar and gets praised through achievement and keeping the peace. So if they're not getting praise, their system sees that as failure. The parentified child is that kiddo who became the caregiver too young, and they learned that love is responsibility or fear. It's like disorganized kids grew up with love and danger in the same breath. So their nervous system learned that when you expect one, you must expect the other. And real healthy relationships, even relationships with other attachment styles, insecure attachment styles, even those relationships don't mean that love equates danger, but their nervous system is so primed to expect it that overriding and rewiring that hardware that's in their brain to say that love equals safety and that it's okay is something that requires a ton of time, attention, um, a ton of like um self-awareness. You have to really be willing to acknowledge where you're at and where you're coming from. Um, so let's go over the disorganized attachments nervous system hijacks, right? All right. So Velcro and vanish. I love these. This is intense closeness on Saturday and silence on Sunday. This is that amazing date followed by distance. The intimacy hangover after connection, your body panics. It was too good. Something bad must be next. I personally just experienced this. I have a friend who I adore. This is my person. And it's been a rough go when people struggle with mental health. It's hard to keep things even, especially when you both struggle. And we had a hangout the other day. We had a good time, and I left there feeling great. I felt seen. I felt heard. I've never felt so sure. Um, Within 3, 4 hours, maybe, I was convinced I was too much. I had been too loud. I had been too talkative. I talked too much. I was too bubbly. I didn't ask enough questions to my friend. I didn't give them space to talk. I was too over the top. And to be quite honest, it triggered a spiral for me because I have lost friends in the past for these reasons. And I don't want to lose more people. I've lost a lot of people in the last 18 months. I've lost a lot of friendships. I've lost a lot of stability. I've lost a lot of love. And in the moment, being myself, unmasked and being free felt amazing. And afterward, it just felt like I was waiting for the other shoe to drop, which made me want to self-sabotage so that I wasn't the one hurt. I wanted to be the one hurting. I wanted to be the one to say, hey, look, I get this. This isn't going to work. We're just too different. And it's not what I wanted, but it's what I felt like I needed to do to protect myself. I didn't engage in my thoughts. I let them come across. I let them happen. I watched them. I stepped back into the observer mode. I stepped back and I just watched them come across. I didn't do anything to jeopardize my friendship. I took space for myself. And despite every intense emotion I've had to self-sabotage, I just tried to breathe through it and not listen. I'll name it. I'll say, this is my attachment talking. This isn't what I actually want. This person is important to me. And then I let it go. This has taken a lot of practice to be able to get to that point. As you can tell, it's still hard. Where were we? Uh, the next one I already talked about, the preemptive breakup, ending things before you can get abandoned. Then there's the fight, then flight. This is when something tender and sweet becomes a nitpick moment, and then you use that disagreement from your nitpicking to justify pulling away and exiting the friendship or relationship. There's the water balloon test. Weather balloon. It's where you will disappear for hours, 36 or more. Silence. To see if they'll chase you. To see if they'll notice. I'm not proud to have done that one. I don't like it. It feels manipulative. But sometimes my brain is just so insistent that if I just disappeared, nobody would even notice. Then there's the push and pull. There's the I'll drop a heart, but I won't actually respond to your messages. It's like, I acknowledge you, but I don't have energy for you. So, how does it feel when you're in an avoidant and disorganized spiral? It surges, the like hot flashes, but also panic, which feels cold in your body. Um, there's racing thoughts and a tight chest and difficulty breathing, often followed by disassociation. It's like flip-flopping between I need you, please don't leave me, and I'm gonna leave you. Sometimes within minutes of each other. It's like your nervous system is running, find the hug and find the exit at the same time. Dating someone disorganized probably feels like a roller coaster. Amazing views, amazing moments, followed by terrifying drops and zero safety. I like to say that I'm a good communicator. I like to believe that I can talk about what I'm experiencing when I'm experiencing it. And it doesn't always help the other person. Recently I was communicating to a friend of mine that I was experiencing the urge to self-sabotage and to push them away. And my triggered attachment triggered their insecure attachment, which re-triggered my insecure attachment, which re-triggered their insecure attachment. And we went through an attachment rupture. And I feel like I lost part of them in that. And maybe that's just my perception. Maybe I'm just imagining it. Maybe I'm looking for reasons to jeopardize it. But like, I'm ride or die. You are my people if you are my people. In friendships, people with disorganized attachment are ride or die, but they will withdraw when they feel triggered, and go silent with little to no explanation, usually, unless they're healing, and then they might try and explain it. In the workplace, they are the creative powerhouse, but they struggle with consistency or authority. In romantic relationships, these people are deeply passionate. It's intense early. It's that too much too fast feeling. Um, but then the too much too fast becomes the pullback, so it becomes a ghost and then return cycle. It's like planning the holidays with you and then Googling a studio apartment in the same day, asking you to marry them and then running away. I mean, because of the constant push and pull in your brain, there's some amazing strengths that come with this attachment style. An ability to understand deep emotional pulls and connections, an insane amount of intuition, resilience, creativity, and adaptability. But with the strengths come the shadows and those hot and cold cycles, the self-sabotage, the mistrust, the volatility of the emotions, difficulty staying present in the moment because you're so worried about the fear of abandonment. Disorganized attachment isn't like broken. It's not being broken. It's brilliant survival. The problem is that survival mode doesn't know how to rest. Um, I've said it before that I don't like to be alone. I'm terrified of being alone, but I also don't trust anyone. And if you can't trust people, then how do you engage in relationships and friendships? Some questions for yourself if you might be curious if you're disorganized. Do you swing between craving closeness and pushing it away? Do you feel safe when you're in love or do you brace for it to hurt you? When somebody that I care about hugs me, what else does my body do? Do I want to run away? Do I want to embrace it? Do I want to lean in? Do I want to pull away? Does it make me uncomfortable? So, how can you shift toward being more secure when you're disorganized? Um, Consistency is the biggest thing. Create small rituals, morning check-ins or weekly calls. Practice grounding techniques before reacting. Um, if you start to feel your chest is tight, take 3 deep breaths before you respond. Um, when you feel like disappearing, do the opposite and share intimacy, share vulnerability. Constantly reframe for yourself that closeness can be safe. It just takes practice. Do a lot of therapy, inner child work, trauma informed therapy, retraining the nervous system. Um, and then do the hard thing and replace testing with requesting. So instead of disappearing to see if they still love you or care about you, ask for reassurance. Hey, could you check in by 8 o'clock tonight? It helps me to regulate. It's hard not to demonize my experience and make me the problem. But what I've realized is that the right person, the right partner won't see my shadows as a problem. They'll see them as something that they want to help. And they're not going to demonize asking for reassurance. They're not going to demonize asking for consistency. I know that my person is out there. And I guess I've resigned to this point of maybe I'm just better off without them for right now. I have a lot of healing left to do, but I'm also not going to push away the intimacy that I so crave if it shows up on my doorstep. And I guess that's the work I'm doing. If this episode for you hits, don't worry. I'm not going to leave. Unless you want me to. Unless you don't. Um, Next time, we're going to talk about the unicorn of attachment styles, the secure attachment. That is where the balance that we're all aiming for, like, exists in the world. And we will talk about secure attachment, people who are groomed with secure attachment naturally. But we're also going to talk about earned secure attachment and the gold standard of a healed attachment style. Remember this, friends. Healing does not mean perfection. Healing means practice. So go out into the world, unmask, untangle, and shine your weird. Until next time, stay weird.